Hi guys, it's Wade McMaster here. Today I've got a video for you. I'm going to show you how to create a particular type of blog post which I've used in the past to generate hundreds of thousands of visitors to one of my blogs. It's called a top list post. Now, you're probably wondering what a top list post is and why it works, but basically it's just a list of items. It's exactly all it is. It's just a list of items on a blog post. Now the reason they work is because people quite often, when they want to find something, they want the best of something. Maybe it's maybe they're looking for a Jackie Chan movie or some really healthy food to add to their diet that fights cancer. So maybe they'll type into Google the top Jackie Chan movies or top cancer fighting foods. And quite often you'll get these lists, the top 33 cancer fighting foods, the top 15 Jackie Chan movies. And people then go through and look through these lists, find the bits and pieces they want, take the information and then go off and do what they want with it. It's because the reason they work is because this is human nature. People do this all the time, searching for the best of something. And top list posts are really convenient, and they're not only just popular in blog posts, they've been in magazines for years or decades before the internet made them popular too. So what I'm going to do, we're going to jump on the computer and show you how you can create your own top list post, use it to try and generate more traffic for your website, grow your website, and go from there. So let's jump on and have a go.
Okay, so we're in the computer now, and I just wanted to briefly, very quickly, before we get started on the tutorial, just show you exactly how powerful these top list posts actually are. Now, this is just I've just sort of picked a period of so many months for one of my websites, which is basically over that period of time has had close to 200,000 sessions. And I just want to show you exactly the sort of percentages we're looking at. What really drives the traffic on this website is actually the top list posts. So if I head down to behavior, an overview, and scroll down and you see here, my number one post is the top 10 Donnie Yen movies, the ultimate list of celebrity martial arts, Bruce Lee movie list, martial arts action movies, Michael Jai, there's a top movies, top movies, top movies, top movies, top movies, top movies, and the home page. Now this website is about 90% individual film reviews, and these top lists here actually make up the majority of the traffic. As you can see, this particular list here is 9% of my overall traffic. And if you add all of these up, you're looking at like 15, 20, 25, 30, 34, say, so 40. We've already got more than 40% of the traffic just in these top 8 list posts. But the majority of the posts on this website, if I go to the next page, you'll find we've got more lists, more lists, more lists. As we get down, we're starting to get more into film reviews. Film reviews. More film reviews, and you'll find the percentage of these is much less. So we're actually getting to, you can see here, less than 1%. Less than 1%. So the top lists on this particular website have really been the difference between 1 to 200 visits a day and thousands, at one point up to almost 3,000 visits a day. Now I've sort of left this website and it's sort of come down a bit over the last year or two, but you can see the majority of the traffic is by these top list posts that I actually wrote years ago. They just sit there and constantly bring me new traffic. Now you can see here, if I go back to page 1, it's a basic formula for creating a top list post. So this one here, Donnie Yen movies, click on that. Sorry, click on this little window here. You can see the basic formula, which we're going to go over very soon. We've got the usual WordPress format. We've got like an image on the right, but you see we've got one item, an image, and a description. One item, an image, and a description. This just visually breaks it up, and even though there are actually ads on this site, you can quite easily see we got, okay, this is one, that's another, and it's very easy to go from item to item and find the information out that you want. And some items have less information in them than others, but that's fine. So we've got a nice little roll through of items here on this page. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly jump into WordPress and show you my process of how you can write these and actually start to improve the traffic on your website. Okay, so I've got a new blog post here in WordPress, and we're going to basically start typing up our list. So just for the sake of this video, I'm going to come up with a bit of a dummy list. The content's not actually going to be accurate. It's just as a bit of a demonstration. So I'm going to say the top 5 sources of protein. So when you do this, obviously most lists, if you want a really good comprehensive list, quite often you can have longer numbers. Longer doesn't necessarily mean better, but one of the best things I find about top list posts is that you can create rather long, lengthy, and in-depth posts that are packed with information. And this one's going to be pretty short for the sake of demonstration. But when you're doing your title, sometimes you can get rid of the and just have top 5 sources of protein. And maybe you want to add a bit of a benefit to why they want to use those, such as, to gain more muscle. So yeah, you can have a bit of a, or you can even get rid of the brackets altogether. So that way you've got like a bit of a, it's not just about proteins, about, oh, this is perfect for this particular benefit. So that actually it makes it even more specific and can, attract people, because if someone's looking specifically to gain more muscle, generally they're going to find sources of protein, and they might be more likely to click on this link if it says to gain more muscle as well. So the way I usually start off is I'll just create the list, and I might not even necessarily do it in WordPress. Sometimes I'll actually I've got a program I manage a lot of things in called Trello, or maybe even just type up an email, and I'll just list the items to begin with. So I might say beef, chicken, maybe whey, protein powder, fish, and turkey. So we've got 5 items here. Like I said, these aren't necessarily accurate. I'm just using them for the sake of the video. So I'll generally start off with those items before I do anything else. And then once I'm happy, I've got the items I want, I then start my introduction. So the way I'll sort of do the introduction is I'll try and talk about, obviously we'll introduce the post. Maybe it'll be problem, solution, list. So this is how I would break things up. So I'd say identify the problem, which is, so you're having trouble finding enough protein to gain muscle or to take full advantage of your workout and gain more muscle. Now this is just a quick and easy one. The solution is, well, you need to find the best sources of protein out there. And then you basically just talk about, what protein does, or, you discuss the problem, discuss the solution being protein, being maybe you want to talk about the difficulties of it, like finding good sources is tough as many are poor quality or hard to get. Where do you look? So you got a basic intro there. You go, so we've compiled a list of the top protein sources. And you see here I've used a lot of keywords too. Obviously proteins in here, gain more muscles in there, just like it is up the top. We compiled a list of the top protein sources. Maybe I even want to bold this here and just emphasize certain things. So you introduce the problem. Sometimes you can make your introduction longer. You can make it shorter, but I would generally make it at least this sort of length. And you might even add an image off to the right here eventually. So we've got our little introduction, and now I'll actually go through and set up each item. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to make these, because our heading here is going to be heading 1 when we publish it, I'm going to make these heading 2 because they're sort of next in the hierarchy, so to speak. Then what I do next, I'm going to break it down for you. So we're going to introduce the item. We're then going to talk about it, why it's good, and if this might not necessarily apply to this, but if you were listing a process or some kind of tool, you would say how to use it, in which case we can sort of talk about that here, and then where to find it. So what you can do is simply go through, copy these down on each item. For this video, I'm going to copy just the same text once we have it ready. But you can get a bit of an idea of how to break up each item so that people get a bit of information about it. It's almost like a mini blog post you're writing in each item. So I might say, beef is red meat that comes from cows and is one of the best protein sources in the world. And then, of course, you say, we all enjoy a good steak. Beef is also high in other nutrients, such as iron, saturated fat, etc. And you'd probably write a little bit more about that, but just for now, what we're going to do, we're just going to copy a little bit of dummy text in there. Why it's good, we've sort of gone through that above, but you can say, you know, it's a natural source of protein that has been proven to get results. You go through, maybe you want to talk about the vitamin B content, maybe you want to talk about statistics, anything like that. But once again, for the sake of this, we're just going to dummy that. How to use it. You can fry up a steak or chop it up into a casserole and have it ready to go. Or use it as a good excuse to go out for dinner and buy a steak. So you got, I wouldn't necessarily write this exactly. Being on video and typing at the same time obviously is a little bit funny, but you got the idea. So we introduced, talked about the benefits, talk about how to use it. In other words, you know, different ways you can eat it and where to find it. You can find beef at your butcher, supermarket, or the local restaurant. Maybe I would say something like, I recommend going to your farmer's market to get grass-fed beef or some kind of extra benefit. And the good news about this is if you're doing something and you're selling something that has an affiliate program, this is the perfect place to put your affiliate link, make sure it stands out, so that way people get information about the item, where they can get it with the affiliate link, and then therefore you can actually make money off each item you list in your top list. So what I'm going to do, because we're only in a video, this is not like a real blog post we're going to be publishing. I'm going to copy this information for each item. So obviously you wouldn't do this if you were writing. You would make sure that each item, you talk about that particular item and make it unique for each individual item, so that way people are actually getting some value. But you can see here, once we've typed up one, if we do the same for these 4 or 5 items, we've already got 795 words. So imagine you're doing a top 15 or 20 list, you're going to be getting a few thousand words in that post as it is. Now, another thing we want to start doing is getting images on here, because we want to be able to break these up visually. So I'm actually going to head to a website called pexels.com, and basically I can go in here, I can search for beef. Maybe I've got this image here, and I can download. It's a free download, and on top of that, it's free for personal use. There's no attribution required, so you can literally download these images and use them. And that's pexels.com. If you do want to, I have a blog post which details all these top sources where you can get free imagery from, including or even paid stock imagery. So that way, if you're looking for images for your website, you've got a whole range of options. That link is in the description below if you do want to check that out. So you can go through and download these. I wouldn't recommend downloading them at full size, because we do want to put them on our website and we don't want them to take too long to load. So you can go small or even medium if you just want to get that bit bigger. So we go small, and then we go download. But I've actually, just to speed things up, I've already got a few images uploaded. So I'm going to go to add media library. You see I've got that same beef picture here. So I want to give it obviously title, beef, alt text beef, because we want to get everything set up for SEO, and insert into post. And now we have our first item, beef, an image, and a description. And we'll do the same for chicken. Chicken, center, insert, whey protein powder, insert, fish, Insert. So as we add these images throughout, and you can do these, you can go through item, you can type up the item, add the image, do it all one by one. I prefer to get all the typing done first and then focus on the images, but it comes down to your personal preference. Turkey, turkey. So now we've got our list. We've got an introduction. Maybe we want to pop an image off to the side. So for the sake of demonstration, I'll just grab this picture of a turkey here. I'm going to go medium, right align. Obviously, usual things apply. You want to pick a category. You want to pick if there's any tags you want to use, your featured image, that sort of thing. Not going to worry about that right now. But we basically got our top list post typed up, and we just want to finish with a conclusion. Now, you can do a lot of things here. You can simply wrap up, say, you know, there you go, or something funny like that. I also like to say, did I miss something? And highlight that, header 2. And this is, if you think I missed a worthy protein source, please leave a comment below. So you're actually encouraging people to leave a comment. And a lot of people, if they think that you've missed something that they think is vitally important, chances are that they will get on there and leave a comment because they really want you to know about it. That's what they say. If you want to start a conversation on the internet, just say something wrong. So yeah, and then you can say, thank you for reading. You can probably put a bit more into wrapping it up, but you get the idea of what we're doing there. We're just sort of talking about, maybe you can talk about how it's a pattern. Like you say, as you can see, most stored protein sources are meat. So stick to, you know, fresh natural meats. Try to avoid protein, processed meats or something like that. You can sort of give people a little bit of advice on the way out. Ask them to leave a comment, anything like that, and just sort of wrap up the post and try and get a call to action there, whether it be leaving a comment or if you want to download our full muscle guide, please click the link below. So maybe you've got an ebook or something and you want people to subscribe to an email list. So get a call to action there, because if people are arriving on your website and there's no call to action, they're going to process the information and leave. Why not actually offer something that's going to give you a bit of a return on the time you spent putting it together? So that's basically it. So now if I preview this post, you can see we have top 5 sources of protein to gain more muscle, a little intro here, beef, chicken, whey protein. Very easy to see exactly where you're going and what information you want. And then of course we got our little call to action. You might have something down the bottom here. That's basically it. Now I do recommend trying to aim for, if you're going to do a comprehensive post for search engine optimization purposes, trying to get more traffic, then you do want to do a bit of research, make sure you haven't got some really stiff competition out there. Even if you do, sometimes you can still get a lot of traffic anyway. Make them long. This post is very short, 831. I like to make my list posts at least 2.5 or 3,000 words or more, so they're very comprehensive. And I like to try and put as much information in each item as possible, so it becomes like basically a really packed resource. And yeah, and sometimes you could even substitute these pictures for video embeds. If you do end up putting a bunch of video embeds on your page, though, they can slow down the loading speed of the page, so it might be a good idea to link off to a video you have on another blog post or something like that. So I hope that makes sense. It's very easy to do and very effective way of getting more traffic to your website. So if you did enjoy that video, please consider subscribing below. Otherwise, I hope to see you again next time. Okay, thanks.